to the channel. It's S.E.E and Trucker Rod channel. And S.E.E Nation, how y'all doing tonight? We are here in Martinsburg, West Virginia. We are on the very eastern tip, butted right up, I want to say 10 miles, and we're in Maryland. So Hagerstown, Maryland's just north of us. I want to say 12 miles, 10, 12 miles. So yes, I talked to my customer. He was out of town the first time I delivered a new customer a couple weeks ago. He was in Salt Lake City. So this time when I called him, he said, hey, let me know. I'll be around. I live 5 minutes from, he has a retail place. So he lived 5 minutes away. So we got me unloaded today. So I'll be able to get up super early and jam for my second stop tomorrow. I should be there right around the time I'd be leaving this first stop. So things are looking good. And before we get into any more discussions, if you can, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, as we are, still working on getting the channel growing, getting the algorithms moving to get this channel out more. I am working on the ride along. It is a little more labor intensive because instead of doing music layover on this next one that was up through that devastation, I'm just going to start at the beginning, and I am just going to narrate a Morgan Freeman through it all, start to finish, so I can just point things out, because it is a very narrow road for that whole nearly hour, 45 minutes, 50 minutes. And there's just going to be things in there. Plus, there's going to be a lot of tight turns in switchbacks and all that. So it would be nice to have a second camera to be able to see, or a couple more cameras to have out on the sides of the truck so you can see how tight I get up to the cliffs and the mountainsides as I am snaking the trailer around the switchbacks. So other than that, yeah, short week last week, another short week this week. And it's funny, they say, well, you got a loaded trailer. Loaded trailer don't mean shit to me. I can still blow it out in 2-3 days and I'm back. And I said, I need a full week's worth of work, not just a trailer load and here you go. So I need, trucking is, you just go out and you run. You just go out and run. Get the trailer unloaded, get another trailer loaded, go and run. That's the trucking I know. That's the trucking I have grown up around. So that's my sense of it. So slowdown is here. So I have just taken the position to take my energies, therefore, and I was on the road for 2 days last week. I did an appliance install, some quoting on some other windows and doors, auto and RV detailing. So I was on the road for a couple days getting all that stuff done, and I made some good money on the side. On the computer, doing some research and legwork. I took Saturday. I had a family member come in, so I took Saturday, which would have been yesterday. We had a safety meeting in the morning, but I just took the oh yeah, I had an oil change and detail there, and then I took the rest of the afternoon. I blew through that quick. So spent some time with the fam before I jumped back in the truck. I got up just before 4 this morning, got in the truck around 5, and got here, kicked the product off, got over here to Rutter's. And I will say, these Rutter truck stops, they're not bad. When I ran produce out here on the East Coast, I really see a lot of them, and especially in rural parts or small towns. They've been for a few areas I was in all the time. I always knew there was going to be that Rutter's truck stop there, and they always have like a hot food bar, like a kitchen, where they do bakery to chicken, burgers, all that kind of stuff. So you get a good hot bar. It's not like your national chains that, like the Loves and Pilots, the same old McDonald's, Hardee's, Arby's, Subway crap. that's ran its course and the novelty's worn off. So yeah, so as I'm waiting for the weather now, I saw when I got stopped here today, more snow in the forecast back in Michigan. I need that weather to warm up this month here in April because, like I said, I'm putting off some detailing because I'm waiting for the weather to come about. RVs especially, as the season's here. People are either coming back in from snowbirding or they are opening up their campers. And of course, they want to get that musty smell out, get everything cleaned up, dialed up, ready to go for the summer. So looking forward to that. Like I said, not worried about cash flowing. You just got to keep moving, keep busy, and keep your head on the swivel to always be looking to make opportunity for money and cash flow. The one thing you don't want to do, especially with everyone's wigging out about these tariffs, stop. Let it go. Tariffs are always there. It's just because a certain individual is in office, they're amplifying it. The last guy that was in office, there was tariffs on lumber coming out of Canada last summer. There wasn't a peep about it. Let it go. The tariffs are always going to, every president has always, that every presidential administration for decades has put, upped or added, either up the percentage or added tariffs. Tariffs are there. They've always been there. So just live with it. It's like everyone's just wigging out. Oh, tariffs this. Oh, my 401ks. First of all, if you're smart with your investment money, you need to be is on the swivel and on point with your investment money, whether it's a 401k or a pension of any type. You should be talking to your fiduciary and knowing where things are standing. You need to understand the market enough to know, hey, I moved my shit last year, the third quarter last year, into bonds and money markets and other conservative stuff to get my money out of the volatility of the stock market. So I don't give a shit if it damn crashes. I hope it goes under 10,000. I'm praying for it to, because we need a reset. The only way you're going to get a reset in this economy is assets are going to have to falter. They're going to have to drop. And right now, all those people in the government, these politicians that have been doing inside trading, people that are leveraged up, multimillionaires or your billionaires. It's not just Elon and all that stuff, but it's all these people that are so over leveraged into markets that they are screaming at the top of the hill there, that he's crashing the market. The markets are going to get crashed. Markets need to crash. If they were smart, they would have moved their money into a safe haven asset that would not have the volatility for a downturn in a Wall Street crash or a recession. And I think people need to be very diligent to see that and not just assume that whoever they put in charge of their investments, that they're doing the right thing for them. Because I've heard fiduciaries just say, don't worry, you're young enough, write it out, it'll come back. When? 10, 15 years? No, I took the reins on that a couple years ago, and we've been doing good. What else did I want to say about that? And now is not a time to go out and buy into luxury items. And when I say luxury items, everyone thinks, oh, luxury, like big fancy mansion, a fancy car. No. Luxury items in America is, don't go out because you need a new big screen TV because some sports is coming up, baseball season's coming up, whatever. You don't need to go out and leverage, I got to spend this money. Park that money. Have it build, some wealth for you. Don't go out and buy a new car. Buy a new used car. Let someone else hit the depreciating value of it. Let them take the hit. You can at least make out, new used car, something that's a couple years, 5 years old. People that say, "Oh, 10-year-old cars are clunkers." I'm sorry, but my vehicles, my newest car is 6 years old, and then my other two are 13 and 15 years old. They're still like new. I maintain them. Yes, I'm a mechanic too. I also do welding, fabricating. I also do all my carpentry work. It's the skill sets. Learn skill sets to take care and be self-sufficient, especially when the markets get bad and the economy gets bad, to where you're not so freaking reliant on a mechanic, a plumber, electrician, a carpenter, everybody, or someone to oversee your money and all that. I consult people when I have questions about my money, where to park it, where to invest, but overall, I make the final decision, not them. Um, so that is just something as you're going to see more. Last week was a big market uproar. Friday was 2,200 points down. Thursday or Wednesday was 1,000, 1,100 points. It's like I'm just sitting there just cheering. I'm like, yeah, let it crash, man. I don't care. I'm not in it. I'm not playing in it. Don't want to. I'll swing trade in the stock market, but other than that, I get away from it. And never had a car that wasn't at least 8 years old. Yeah, and that's just it, is these people that have gone out since post-COVID or even during COVID, they all went out and they overbought. I mean, and we were the same way with our 5-year-old, or yeah, going on 6-year-old car. We bought that 2019 Toyota Highlander. And here's the story on that. We bought it in July of 2020. It was 1 year old, 10,000 miles. Because we lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan, the car was in Austin, Texas. We shopped around. We didn't want all-wheel drive because we know in the future we're going to be in an environment where there's going to be no snow and ice. Everything north of the Mason-Dixon line, all the Toyota RAV4s and Highlanders were all checked off by the dealers as XLE package, mid-level package, with all-wheel drive. With that, I couldn't find a front-wheel drive. I said, I don't need all-wheel drive when the day comes and I transition out into a warm climate where there's no snow. And I said, really, the all-wheel drive is just more wear and tear on the drive line, tires, and all that. And I said, I just don't need it. My wife, it's her car. She will not drive in snow and ice. She will reschedule her doctor's appointments and all that. And the car sits in the garage. I think we drove it 6 times since the first of the year. So we have the 2012 Ford Fusion. That's our daily driver. We drive the snot out of that. My pickup, my lifted Ram, that's been sitting in the garage for 2 years, and I put 90 miles on it in the last 2 years. I drove it out of town one time, and that was it. Outside of that, I pull it out in the driveway when I need to get in and around the garage more. But I have no need to drive it. So therefore, storage insurance is on it. Put it back in the corner of the garage. And then her car, we use it more in the summer when we go down to our other property. But that car, we went down Austin, Texas, got that vehicle. They took over $7,000 off that car. That car overall around the country was going about 42,000 with that miles. They came down to 37 because we flew out for a Toyota Highlander at an Infiniti dealership. They were like, this isn't a high end, it's a Toyota. It's like buying a Chevy Malibu. So we went out there. Basically, we walked out the door was 31 with 10,000 miles on it, and that's the most I've ever spent on a car. But my wife is disabled, so therefore it had the factory running boards and all that, so she can transition in and out of it. The Fusion is too low, and she was having a hard time getting up and out of there. Plus carrying a walker, wheelchair, and all that, it was just getting to be an inconvenience, and the Highlander did us better. So, but yeah, we got the Fusion a year old. and that had 18,000 miles on it, and I've been just taking care of that. And that thing, surprisingly, 13-year-old car, no oil leaks, just keeping the maintenance up on it and replacing parts as needed when they're borderline or worn out. And the Ram was a salvage title. We built that. So it's just been a build project. It's drivable. I've taken it out of state. I pull a 40-foot camper with it. But for now, I said I don't take the camper anywhere. I parked it on a seasonal lot because of COVID. Nothing was up and available, so now we have a second property. I use that property to base from to further my auto and RV detailing down. And I want to say close to 2 hours from my house. But outside of that, yeah, you'll see people buying I want to say they're overpaying for vehicles. And right now, as of last week, they were saying the price of new vehicles are coming down, but the price of used are going up because they're more in demand. So they're seeing price sales coming down on new, but the used car market's going up. So the prices are staying the same or going up. That's why I tell people learn skill sets instead of coming home and just saying I worked my 8 hours, I'm tired. Learn something new. I said, hey, buy me some saws. I'll figure out, and I did, doing all the renovations around my house. I did the crown molding, baseboards, wheelchair ramp. I put 3 decks on, redid the whole garage because the garage was framed in, so we finished it, insulated it. The only thing I haven't touched is I had a contractor come in, put a roof on, and HVAC put in. Outside of that, I've been replacing windows and doing all I can on my house. So seeing, I'm going to see the truck in my route slowing way down. So I'm just going to pivot, use my energy, and go into my other businesses and ramp those up, market those more, and commit to more of that to get cash flow coming in that way. And there's been some new products and stuff coming in, from Jax Wax to System X that I use for ceramic coating. So this week I'm going to be pushing on our marketing on that detailing side on those products and getting that up and going. Overall, like I said, I go out where I'm at with my seasonal lot with the camper. Hey, Laura. Yeah, my wife. Say hi to Laura. That's my wife in there. She just chimed in. Gentleman up above you there. He was just talking about, we were talking about how we got the Highlander and all that. Hopefully, if he's still in here. Sorry, I got my glasses on. Who is that? The BMX 18. But yeah. So yeah. Talked about the Highlander and how we went about getting it and why we just don't buy new vehicles. The resale just loses badly. But on the other hand, I can take a handful of money. Kevin, okay. As soon as I saw BMX, I just couldn't put who might be chiming in. So, and some of Rodney's friends have subscribed to the channel too. But yeah, so how's it going at the shop? I take it. What time did you get in the shop and work there today? Kevin is in the chat. He was my bike mechanic, me and my son's bike mechanic when I raced BMX Supercross. And I'll say one thing, I've never had anything negative to say, and my son and I still to this day, we talk highly of all of our career in racing BMX. That really got me through some trying times, trying to, I want to say, realign myself from previously truck driving and going to school to be a chiropractor, coming back, and I just needed an outlet. And that outlet, luckily, I didn't go in a negative aspect, but BMX really helped elevate my son and I and gave us a good bonding. So we still campfire, we still trash talk each other. That shit will never stop. There isn't a damn time I can't have a conversation with that kid. And he's out in California, and I'll tell you, folks, he still he goes, well, you think you should be on a bike at your age? I said, don't worry, there's plenty of tread on the tires, but the kid will still badger me and trash talk me. But I told the wife, I said, unless I won the lottery so I could cover my medical bills, I wouldn't mind going back in, and I missed the cadence of the gate and the adrenaline and the whole shot. That was some great times, and the traveling and meeting some cool cats out there, and in learning and understanding the BMX history from the 70s and 80s. Dude, that was some good times. Just looking back. So, yeah. Other than that, yeah, he's in the chat. But yeah, I had a good drive. Boring as fuck today as far as driving out here, coming down out of Grand Rapids. I went down to Indiana there, jumped on the toll road there on 69, ran that all the way across past Pittsburgh. Where did I jump? Oh, Breezewood out there on 76. I dropped down on 70 to 68 and over to 81. And I'm right out here, 81 here, just to my, this would be to my right. So 81's right here, about 100 yards away. So I'm just going to go back up towards Hagerstown and run 70 and 68 across over to Morgantown, Pennsylvania, and then 79 south to Weston, West Virginia, and across over to. I got to make a delivery over in Elkins, but definitely. Normally those guys would be in 6:30 in the morning, but since he kicked, I got that stop unloaded today. I can be out there and wait, because that's a 4-hour drive, and that's gonna at least get me there. And then I got to go down to Virginia from West Virginia. I got to go down and around the 119. Basically, when I go down to the 119, I go down through the gorge in West Virginia there, where everyone does the whitewater rafting. So I always go across that. But boy, when you look down, I mean, I literally got to stand up in the seat and look down, and just to see the bottom. So, and usually in that area, you're always up in the cloud cover. There in Pineville, but I got to cut through Beckley and then run 64 across, and then I'll get Roanoke, and I got to run Roanoke and out to Martinsville tomorrow. So I don't have a lot of stops on here. That's just it. You know, these guys are like, you got to load a trailer. It doesn't matter how many stops do I have. You know, I need more stops and more coverage, and that's not what I'm getting. So, but yeah, so it was a boring drive. Actually, the wife. Yeah, my daughter was in town yesterday, so we had a good dinner. I was staring at those 4 hamburgers, they're sirloin hamburgers we have, and she made them up, and they're sitting back here, and I was looking at them. I said, I really want one of those hamburgers, but I want to get this live stream done because I may get sleepy, and I don't want to be sitting here yawning on you guys if I start eating before I go live. But I want to indulge in that, and then I got to do some things on the phone. Not going to do any editing, but I got the detailing side. There were some things I wanted to do there because there's new product from System X on the ceramic coating. They have come out with a new ceramic coat that is way thicker, and it's designed mainly for agricultural. So like your compact and your farm tractors, they got like the plastic hoods and all that. So this stuff's supposed to have a higher intense UV protection, so you don't get that sun bleaching of the plastic. And it's like the steering wheel. I got my golf cart out of the garage. I had to move it, and I noticed that it's a red ring on the steering wheel to match the red on the cart, and it's anodized. And Kevin knows that the one thing we try to always stay away from is anodized, because after one summer, any anodized paints out in the sun, that shit just, it bleaches out and it fades quick, and then you're almost like, you lose the color and you're almost right to bare metal. So yeah, this stuff is supposed to, I got to look into it more, but I want to promote it. But for industrial use, so your construction and agricultural equipment, it's supposed to be a thicker and a higher scratch resistant. So I'm hoping to look into it and then contact the company and see if that's going to be good for like laminated side RVs and stuff like that. Because of the UV protection, RVs get sun bleached, especially, you know, sitting out there year in and year out. So yeah, do a little R&D, but I got to get to bed early because I got to get up after 3, and then I want to be on the road just after 4. make that travel, at least get away from this area, because this 81 in Hagerstown, I am the guy was telling me he is. I'll tell you what, this cat here where I delivered to, I got to meet the owner, and not only does he have a retail bricks and mortar, this dude's a property manager, and he is into buying land for property development. And he was out talking with another vendor in Salt Lake when I was here 2 weeks ago. But he said, yeah, he's got property. They just got it cleared. He said he was trying to get Buc-ee's, that is big out in Oklahoma and Texas and all that. They were trying to get what was it, West Virginia or Maryland's first Buc-ee's over here, and it's ended up going over towards Morgantown by Pittsburgh. Is going to be another Buc-ee's here on I-68. He said they're in the middle of building that one, but he was trying to get one over here outside of Martinsburg. And but he's in a land development, and I want to say he sections out, then they just bring in the builders. But he's like the guy that gets the land, parcels it off, and then they get the houses built on it. I was just like, dude, man, you are so business minded. I said, I would love to sit down and have a conversation with you, because it's these kind of guys that get you in the right direction. He's like, he is not anything short of work right now. He goes, are you kidding? I'm busier than all get up. And but he's got to take his Sundays off for he and his wife, because they are on the go and just everything, hustling and moving. But it was funny. I said, man, you're doing well for yourself. A new Cadillac Escalade up there, brand 2025. And he opens the door, and I said, that's a nice Escalade. It's black. And I was going to start talking about detailing, and he goes, I'm broke. And that was his thing. He goes, yeah, as much as I do, I just always walk around to say I'm broke. But yeah, he was a really cool cat. That's someone, those are the mindsets, these entrepreneurs and business owners. Man, if you can sit down and have an intelligent conversation with these guys, I'll tell you what, learning the business and trades. Even like with Kevin, I got to work with the family there at Bicycle Headquarters in Midland, Michigan, and learn the bike trade, and I learned a lot from that. And of course, what we do here really relates when you're talking manufacturers advertised price to what your price is. They call it here, in different aspects of home goods, and that it may be the manufacturer's advertised price or MAP. And so there's all that stuff. And it's really interesting. And I really have grown as a business mind. Boy, I'll tell you, because Kevin was a customer of ours. A little backstory with him is he has tried out several times for the U.S. speed skating team to then go on to the Olympics. And he has been out to Utah to the Olympic Training Center many a times. And so he's done that, plus his family's bike shop business, and the head mechanic, certified mechanic through manufacturers, but also he, just a hardcore guy, just hardcore trains. Obviously, Father Time catches up, and then we just got to say we've done what we could and then moved on. So, but I will say he built me one hell of a good bike back in '06, and I got national number 3 on it. But boy, the first time I went out, I did the whole shot. The bike went flying through the air. I swear that guy was going to beat me over the head with that bike. I crashed at the first freaking drop of the gate. And but I think back then, and that was like, God, that's almost 20 years ago. And I think we dropped almost $3,000 into a BMX bike. It was nothing to throw $2 to $3 grand at a bike and to do a good build. It's like, just give them a carte blanche. Here's a check, build me a bike. And they did. Him and Nate built me a bike, and I got national number 3. I was killing it that year. That stats was really good. But all things come to an end, and you gotta make peace with God to know that Father Time, you're getting older. I just couldn't, and then with my wife's health, I just couldn't put myself out there to take any more crashes and bang ups and bruises. But really enjoyed it, And we did a little snowboard dabbling here and there. The kid does more snowboarding than he does bike riding, but he really wants to get on. He's getting a group together out there in California to do some mountain biking. So he's finding out the realistic terms that Dad and the sponsors covered some cost. Now he's getting a realization of what a mountain bike costs. Holy shit! I said, yeah, buddy. Those bikes, I said, when you were a kid, I said, now you understand the bank of Dad. So, but yeah, overall, we had some good times, and I just don't get on that side of the state as often as we can. Like I said, with summer months coming up now, I've got 2 cars in detailing, an RV, and probably going to have more. And then I'm going to be promoting new product from System X, so I'm hoping that's going to attract some more things. Plus, there's Middlesboro down there where Jayco campers are built. They have down at the Essen House there in Elkhart, Indiana, they have the every Thursday night they have the big car show, and they'll draw in anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 or more cars every Thursday night. That's a good place. If I'm, like I said, if we're slow, yeah, I'll be down there just rolling around with my wagon, pulling some detail products, just doing some touch up, but just promoting. And past, as I was telling my wife yesterday, yeah, kissing the baby, shaking hands, and passing out business cards. So, just to kind of pick up some more ching chang there, and whatever else I can do. Like I said, there's money to be made out there, folks. If you say you can't find work, you're not educated enough to know how to level up and get yourself an LLC, find out what your niche is, and if you're good at something, Tony Robbins and Bob Proctor have said it. If you're good at something, be the best at it. Get better at it. And they will come and money will flow. So that's just my word of advice is just get better at something. Don't be mediocre at it. If you're gonna be if you're passionate into it and want to make money at it. I like, that's how I offset my OCD of keeping things clean. I just detail. I love the polish cars and put the ceramic coat on. My Achilles heel is every freaking time someone shows up with a car and it's just as thrashed as a landfill in there, and it's like, oh dear Lord. It's like, what is the level of difficulty with this? And is it like, do we get a rake and clean all the pet hair and the garbage and get the gummy bears out of the seat tracks and then go in with the extractor? Yeah, I mean, and I got to be honest with him. I said, where do you want to set this into? It's always the interior. Yeah, the pet hair kills me every time. And it's the interiors that kick my butt. The exterior, man, I love doing the exterior. I love just getting that finish on the paint to really pop and shine. Now, there's a ceramic coat, but the level down from that is I use a paint sealant or a Carnauba wax. And the Carnauba would be good if you got a classic car. Say you got a 60s or early 70s muscle car, original paint, and you want that to really have that deep depth look into the paint. Carnauba. If you want to pop, shine, the paint sealant, I would always tell people the paint sealant's going to hold up better through the elements, like up there in the Midwest with the salt and the caustic. Put the paint sealant on if you don't want to do the ceramic. The paint sealant's going to give that nice pop and the bright shine like back at you, but it's not going to give you that depth, but it's also going to give you the strong protection to endure the elements. Whereas the Carnauba wax, it's only good for 3 months, and by the second month, depending on how often you wash it and what kind of detergents you use to wash your car, you could have it off in a month or less. So Carnauba wax, more, I always tell people, unless you've got a car that you store and you just drive it on Sundays, is a classic. Or like the one guy we had come in, he had a nice Audi, and I put a one-step, I actually clay barred it, and then I put it on with a nice DA polishing with the Carnauba wax, and it popped it. And then I restored his headlights, were turned yellow, and they came out excellent. So I was really happy with the outcome on that car. And he just lived around the corner from me, but when I go by his place, I always see the car still covered up, and they very rarely ever take it out. So anyhow, folks, I'm gonna cut it here, and because yeah, I gotta watch my time, and I want to be in bed by no later than 9 o'clock to at least get a few hours of sleep. Thanks for chiming in and dropping in on the channel, and if you could like, share, and subscribe to the channel to help get the algorithm pushing out there. The more comments we got in here, you would have a field day with my car. Yeah, probably with the interior. I'd make the outside look good, but yeah, the interior is like fuck. And that's where the price goes up. To be honest, it's not always the exterior. The exterior is like, it's easy to me because I got the rotary and the DA and all that jazz. Man, you get in the interior, it's all the crevices and just trying to get that thing. They're like, can you get it back to like new? And I feel them out. How far do you want me to go into this? Because if I go all the way, I've had them spend up to $400 just to clean an interior. And it's not cheap, because normally for a deep clean on an interior, I can be anywhere 6 to 8 hours. If it's bad, if it's good, I can be 2 to 3 to make it like new again. 1 to 2 if they just want a vacuum and a dust over on there and no other treatment. So it varies, but the exterior, man, I'll give them a quote of what it should take me. I may go longer than that, because that's what everyone sees when you're cruising down the road. They're seeing the exterior of your car, and I want that finish. That's me on there. That's my, when I work on it, I want that paint to look good, because then people say, man, your car looks great. Well, yeah, rotted over. RK Auto Detailing did it. So that's why you got to really put the time and effort in it. So, but yeah, usually if it's the soccer mom cars and minivans, it's like there's a threshold when you just stop and say, it's going to be like this again in less than 30 days. So you got to kind of know where to talk to the customer and say, unless you get it back within 3 months and we can reset it to, being clean again. But yeah, people just don't, if you got an old car, you're just going to treat as a daily driver and not care and just maybe vacuum it a couple times a year, that's fine. I wouldn't spend the money on a detailer to go through it. But if you have a nice car that you want to go cruising around in, or you want to preserve for a spell, yeah, have someone go through it a couple times a year. But like myself. But other than that, I don't know. I've gotten to the point where if the interior is bad enough, I'll pass. Let someone else go upside down in there under the seats and through the vents and all that jazz. Because by the time I'm in there, I got a shop vac. I got the steam extractor in there. I got my air compressor nozzle in there to blow all the shit out of the crevices and get them out on the carpet to vacuum them up. And if it's pet hair, you're in there with the rake on the shop vac, raking that stuff up. And I mean, we've got pictures of just handfuls of pet hair. Yeah, it's about as bad as like seeing, hair being swept up at a hair salon. So, but yeah, you gotta kind of, when you start out, you take whatever you can get. Now it's like, nah, I don't want to spend that kind of time, because you're pretty exhausted, especially if you get 2 or 3 cars in a day. It's like, yeah, I kind of try to start with the worst and just work my way to the easier one. That way, by the time I'm getting gassed out. So, till next time, folks. Appreciate everyone commenting in here. Let me check the comments real quick, because last time I couldn't catch it, and Kevin ended up calling me. Let's see. I missed the beginning. Yeah. Better not take away your Bucky stop away from you. Yeah. Well, this guy said he knows about Bucky's and he wants to bring it in this area, but they turned him down. He had land cleared and he wants to put something there. He's had He has been in talks with Bucky's. He's been in talks with Sheetz, gas stations, and Rudders. And he said it more likely Rudders is going to bite on his one property. So this guy is like, man, he's got his connections. But he goes, DC is like less than an hour and a half away. People that are losing their jobs or getting near retirement in DC was telling me they're sitting on, houses they bought 30 years ago, and they're about paid off, and they're sitting on 7 figures of a house now that wasn't then. So they're selling and taking that money, coming here and buying like a house for a third of that. So $300,000-$400,000 house over in this area in West Virginia. Like I said, I'm on the eastern tip. I'm right on the Maryland line. They can buy a cheap house, and then they just they put the rest of the money into retirement investments. So it's a good move for them. And he said this area is blowing up with housing and other commercial development. He goes, Clorox came in, they're setting up, and another business has come in. So they're getting manufacturing and some other jazz going on around here. So it's a great area. Economically, if you don't mind having West Virginia as an address, so it's not all bad. So, field day with my curry up. It is good. Finally washed it for the first time in a year. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. These cats will come in, and it's like, dude, the brake dust. I had the one car. It was that Impala with the pet hair, Laura, that the rims were so caustic and bad from the brake dust. I used every piece of arsenal other than sulfuric acid, and they were still yellow, even though they were a silver aluminum rim from the factory, just factory rims. But it's like, man, when they're gone, they're gone. Because I was even out there with my drill brush, the stiff bristle, trying to just dig into it, and they were so pitted and all that, and I'm like, those are gone. So it's called Tommy's monthly subscription. Yeah, I don't want their dirty brushes washing my paint, scratching my paint. Yeah, in the wintertime, because we drive the Fusion year round, I do run my Fusion through Tommy's, because I got my garage so packed in the winter. And if I unpack the garage, I'm going to do it to either be doing oil changes, maintenance, or detailing. But I'm not going to do it just because every Friday I come home and my car's salted. Run it through Tommy's. It's 3 miles away from my house, and good for me. But we know now the Fusion is at the point of we're just going to drive it. And when the day comes and we decide to relocate to another state or something, I'm not taking the Fusion with me. It's the last time I did suspension work on it, the rust flakes are really getting bad and all the main components and all that. So, and I went on longer than I wanted to. So again, I have a great night, folks. Like, share, and subscribe, but stay safe. Continue educating yourself, because remember, knowledge is learned, not taught. And we will see you all in the next video.